Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and welcome to another episode of What Now? Today I have a crazy day actually because we just had a protest in Amsterdam for the Black Lives Matter cause. So, anti-racism, anti-black violence protest, solidarity protest. So, I just got back. I'm wearing my It's Too Much shirt. Shout out to DL Ugly. Because it is too much, and it's been too much. But it's one of the things that we will be discussing as well in these crazy times. I'm sorry about my crazy hair, but yeah, it's just something that's going on top of the Corona situation. So we're going to discuss this with my guest today, which is Mr. Ellis Miah. Ellis, where are you? I'm trying to get you to go live with me. There you go. Okay. Thank you everybody for joining. Sean, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Lou, I see you. Hi, Ellis.
Hey there, hold on a second. The volume gets considerably lower when you go live. I just found out.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. So how are you?
I'm well. Thank you. I'm as well as anybody can be in these times.
Right. I know, because you're actually in the middle of all the craziness. Like I was just telling people, I just got back from the solidarity protest here in Amsterdam, which was insane. Not insane as in rioting and looting, but just the turnout was incredible. Yeah. I think it was about 2,000 people at least on the damn square. You've been there, and around all the streets around it were all full. It was very difficult to get through. It's also crazy because of Corona. We have to mind our health. But at that point, I felt like I've touched a million strangers for the first time in 2-3 months. So, I mean, it was worth it, though. I felt like this is a cause that I need to stand up for. And, as a lover of Black culture, as a non-Black person of color, I have to have a voice in this. So yeah, I showed myself, I showed support and solidarity, and racism is everywhere. So Black Lives Matter everywhere, not just in America.
This is true. The degrees of which racism touches us is different throughout the world, but it still exists.
Right.
It is, to me, the most lethal man-made virus that we know of, because there's no reason for it. The idea of othering and all of that other stuff. I think it was the author. I don't want to misquote who it was. But in an interview, she said, if the only way that you can feel tall is to stand on the backs of others, you need to ask yourself, what is that about? And that's universal. So yeah, it's not Black against everyone else. It's everyone else against insane racism. This insane idea. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I live in constant fear as well for my family and loved ones in the United States. Not to get a call that somebody got shot for nothing. So yeah, for me, it's more than just enjoying Black culture or being part of Black culture through my work. It's also having friends and family and loved ones who are Black in America. So for me to have to tell my friends to switch their license plates when they move to a different state, just because I don't want them to get stopped, for them to have kids that I don't want to be parentless, orphaned for no reason. It's a constant worry on top of the regular worry that you have when you have friends that live far away. So yeah. on top of the coronavirus, which is still a thing, because I see the images online about the riots everywhere, and it's just people on top of people.
Yeah.
As if there is no coronavirus. So I'm literally waiting in fear what the spikes are going to be, and as well over here as anywhere else.
Yeah. I mean, I can only speak for what's happening here, but I feel like, you know, in the lifting of these quarantines, it's not being pushed abundantly that this is still something that is dangerous.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people are mistaking, you know, just, you know, it seems obvious enough, but it's not, that, the quarantine is lifted. The threat has not been. And I think that as we go on, people are, you know, getting very relaxed and, you know, because it's an unnatural way that we're living. So it's understandable, you know, and it's a thing that you can't see until it's gotten you, you know, it's not, you know, so yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, going back to the intention of this talk, for those that are joining us, thank you so much. I'm happy to see everyone at least safe and sound enough to tune in. What Now is a series of motivational relief for creatives that was born out of the necessity to inspire and motivate people out of their frustration, depression of the entertainment industry shutting down. Basically, any creative job has been put to a stop for now, or pause. Tomorrow is actually music blackout for in solidarity of the Black Lives Matter. So tomorrow I will not be working on anything music related, which is fine because we can all take a day off because our music, our work never stops. But so going into that, Mr. Ellis, I'm so happy that we met in Amsterdam through our mutual friend, the wonderful Curtis Richardson.
Yes.
If for those who, well, no, I didn't put that one online because we had problems with well, I'll talk to Curtis again. But yes. Ellis and I met in Amsterdam during Amsterdam Dance event. And when I got to know Ellis, I saw how incredibly talented he is. On top of that, he's been giving me life with his flips online during quarantine. You are just amazing. And I love the fact that you sing, because I wasn't really aware of that when I met you until the songs that you've been doing during quarantine. Right. So
thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what you do, who you are, where your passion comes from.
All right. Well, first of all, you need to, when we're done, send me your address so I can send you your $50 gift certificate for the plug and all those nice words. All right, so who I am Ellis Miah. I'm an LA-based singer, songwriter, producer, DJ. Basically, I am a music soft money whore. If you pay me and it centers around music, I will do that job.
You make it sound so dirty.
You know, let's take the glamour and all the other veneers off of it, basically. You know, I have loved performing since I was a kid, and probably, so I've been a full-time music person, if you will, somewhere right after 9/11. But in those times, there's, you know, like as with anybody else, I'm not a trust fund baby. I think that the part of any creative life is figuring out, you know, it's different for everybody, but this idea of how do you support yourself until the art becomes a thing.
Yeah.
That's, you know, yeah. And everybody, you know, everybody's story is different, and there's all these different, you know, levels to it. And so, you know, the sort of full-time thing started shortly after 9/11. And, you know,
what was your first big break? Because you've worked with people such as RuPaul, see Miley Cyrus. What was your first
Well,
break?
I guess, the thing that sort of really got it off to the races was I was a part of a production collective called The Orange Factory, which at the time was myself and Jeremy Scaller and Robert LaRoe. They had been doing it before, and I sort of came on. And so in that particular configuration, shortly after 9/11, we got the Backstreet Boys remix for The Call. And that was sort of, we were all separately and collectively working, but that was sort of this shot in the arm that created enough momentum for us to do things. Circling back to my thing about the soft money whore thing, it was probably somewhere in that like 2 or 3 year period where, the money would dry out and it would get really thin, and you'd go through these things. You're like, oh, we're going to be okay. And then it would sort of, whatever. And so, hey, Morgan, sorry, I'm seeing people jump on.
That's okay.
Morgan McMichaels of Drag Race is watching.
I'm so excited because I'm such a fan of Drag Race.
Well, Morgan's been keeping busy too, so maybe you could have her on the show. So,
I would love to. Oh, okay. Anyway,
heard it here.
Back to Ellis.
So somewhere in that time, it was really Robert LaRoe. We both were having like a really, really rough winter where it was just like there wasn't enough money coming in, and I sort of followed his lead, and he got really frustrated of like, well, what do like, am I going to have to go back to the day job? Or, we all hold on to these jobs that, keep us afloat. And for me, it was waiting tables, which was awful.
You're better than me because I can't wait tables if my life depended on it. Yeah.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
You're here.
So anyway, in this moment, Robert got really frustrated, and he was like, sort of figured some stuff out. And I said, well, how are you sort of surviving? And he goes, I just looked at everything that pays you that is in and around music, and what could I do with that? And so then I took that, and that's been my thing is, what are the things, the gig isn't always going to be writing and producing for, a major label artist. What are all the other things that I do? I have a studio, I record, I, can play. What are all the things that people pay for? And I need, and I develop that. And so, over time I've done, music for sound libraries that get used in TV shows and reality TV stuff. I had to look at not just myself, but the things that I owned, like my studio, and say, okay, this building needs to make money regardless of where I am in my career and whatever. And so all of those little things over time have helped me get to the point where I am today. So that's the joke about, anything for money. And really, and I don't mean it in the cold, sort of like, the cold,
it's
like,
smart and
you need
efficient way.
Right. Companies do that all the time. Coca-Cola owns vitamin water because they realize, there's a trend against sugar and caffeine and all these other things. So how do we get into that? And it's the same thing, So, my studio did when, in the beginning stages when lots of kids were getting into YouTube content and wanting to do videos and stuff like that. Well, my studio was a place where you could do that. And that was a service that my studio charged. And separating our skill set from our careers is a really important thing, because, you can get caught up and say, well, I've done and I've worked with, and, I can't work for anything less than, because what will people think of? And that's when you have to parcel out your skills into different businesses and think of it that way.
That's really good advice. So I want to address this one more time. Separating your skill set from your career. People, this is something that if you're an artist or whatever you do, separate your skill set from your career in order to see if you can have more revenue streams
Yeah,
And yeah, that's, I just wanted
if
to,
if you're an artist, if you draw and you paint and that medium is a thing that you want, but you might be able to make money as well doing storyboards and all kinds of other things. And what you do is, you create another little website, a little portfolio, and that's marketed differently. And it doesn't have anything to do with, well, my last gallery show did this well, but I'm doing these jobs for a couple $100. They're two different things, and that's what we have to do to survive.
So Devin Tyler Perry says, do what you're good at so you can do what you want to do. That's also a very, very good one. Thank you for dropping that one. I had to call that one out. Also, my friend Real Harris is in this live, and he said that you gained a new fan.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I will be sending you your gift card as well.
I want to get into what you've been doing during this quarantine. So you talking about, you doing all kinds of things to make sure that, the bills are paid and everything keeps rolling. So what has been the biggest impact for you when Corona hit us and the lockdown came? What for you was the biggest impact, whether it was personally or income-wise or work-wise?
Well, okay, so on the income side, everything stopped because, locally I would DJ a couple times a month, and that sort of making videos.
Yeah, I know. That didn't stop.
I was not in my, one video, I had boxer shorts on. I tend to not think of boxer shorts as underwear, by the way.
And I'm still not sure if you're wearing pants right now, because it could be either way. It doesn't matter.
Maybe there'll be a reveal at the end of this to keep everybody tuned in.
We have to stay tuned in to the end to know.
Exactly. Or maybe that's a reason for people to tune out. I don't know. But
I know.
Okay. So
the biggest impact.
I would DJ a couple times a month, and that stopped. And then, some of my clients, that I work with, put all their projects on hold, because we needed to stop interacting, but B, artists and their revenue streams from touring and things like that had stopped. So, do you now feel comfortable allotting a production budget or a recording budget when you don't know when you're going to go back out and tour or any of those other things? So on the financial side, and then even, with labels, I feel like right now, for me, being completely honest, I feel like there's a 1%er thing happening in my friend circle of music producers. Almost all of my friends that are music producers and songwriters, I don't think any of them have stopped creating. We're still writing and doing things, but the goal is a little cloudy at times, knowing which artist camps and which record labels, and the record labels can't be certain either. So there are some people that are very busy, that are, still on projects, and then there are lots of people that are still creating, but that path to the finish line or what the goal is a little cloudy. And I'm definitely in that category. But I have been writing a lot with my regular collaborators, Curtis Richardson being one of them, and Maggie Sabo being another, and then adding other people. And we're writing to pitches like everybody else is. For me, it just seems a little vague, more vague than usual.
It is.
Which anybody
it is vague,
anybody in the pitch world knows writing to pitches is always vague, but it feels a little more vague.
More vague. I get that. So, obviously, I've spoken to a lot more creatives, and they're basically saying the same thing. But people keep being inspired. People keep being motivated. What are some of the things that are keeping you inspired during this time? Like, is it movies? Is it watching other people? Is it?
It's definitely watching it's watching other people. I've been, as you said, I've been posting videos and things for a couple of reasons. One is and I'm not complaining. I think anybody that is in the arts and you're fortunate enough to have a career, at a certain point, it becomes work like anything else. And normally songwriting and producing and all of those things, you're working towards getting the yes of an artist or a record label or an A&R person or a manager. And these videos allowed me to do what I wanted to do in the moment. And that's a very powerful thing. And so deciding that I was going to do X amount a week or every day or whatever it was gave me purpose. And, you know, seeing other people just creating and posting that was inspiring. And so somewhere in that process, I see one of my new friends, I don't know how to pronounce her name, from Paris, just joined. Bonjour.
Elisa, or?
Yes. And that's, you know, the thing is, I'm as much of a fan of what others are doing as people that are becoming fans of me and connecting with, you know, with people. And, you know, all the hippie sort of feel good stuff, but music really does have this power. Art has
the power to make people feel good and get inspired. So the thing that, and I love that everyone in here is giving you your props about inspiring them, because your videos, I'm not kidding you, are giving me life. Like the fact that you have the talent to flip known songs, well known to me, into like upbeat house versions. It's like, to me, that's like amazing.
Well, and for me, it's fun because it's keeping my skills sharp. And it's rewarding for me because I'm doing what's making me smile and happy. Like it's not done. It's not ready until there's a smile coming from here. You know, when the smile you know, is radiating from here, then it's done.
But everyone can do stuff that they love to do. It's something that I always
absolutely
that I motivate people to do. Do stuff that makes you happy. But not everybody has the talent to do it in a way where everybody
has a talent, though. Everybody has a talent. I think that, you know, I think that when we're kids, we're so unaware and we just exist and we just do. And you may love to dance in your underwear with your little pot belly, and somewhere as an adult, even when you don't have the pot belly anymore, you stop doing it. I'm just saying, like it's not even just about the body thing. It's that, like, here you were as a little kid with a pot belly, and if you wanted to dance, you would dance. And here you are as an adult, and maybe you have a gorgeous body, but somewhere you've decided that, like, well, that's silly, and I don't really know how to move. And it's in all of these no's that we're the ones telling us ourselves no, that we're cutting ourselves off from our gifts. And oh, I see Cool Kid just jumped on, co-writer with me on the BTS song, Inner Child. He's out in the UK. Thanks for jumping on, my brother. And
you know, this is awesome because you're shouting out people that you've worked with that I may not have known about. So
well, you need to know about him. He's 24, just turned 24. Singer, songwriter, recording artist, just all around great guy. He was, I believe it was The Voice in the UK and did very well.
Oh wow.
I think it was The Voice. And just an awesome kid. And he's, you know, releasing some really great music. And he also actually was so moved by what is happening here that he posted a little song that he wrote.
I think you told me about him when we were on the phone the other day.
Maybe.
Well, I think you did, because we were talking about working with, you know, the newer generation and stuff. I think you told me about him. Okay, Cool Kid. I'm about to, like, you know, check you out after this. One of my friends jumped in, Sully Landon. She's an amazing singer, and I'm like waiting for her to drop.
Is she the girl that you're posting in your stories?
No, that's Sarah Jane. I did an interview with her. I did an interview with her last Saturday, so it's online. But Sully is like, Sully has a special place in my heart because her voice is so angelic, and she's such a sweetheart. Like, I cannot wait for her album to drop. And no pressure, Sully, but she's just the loveliest person that I just want to see win in everything at life. But as do I with you. For people that are joining us, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the question box, because I already have one question here. Let's see who asked you something. Okay, this is from David. He says, will you keep releasing great music even when the confinement ends? Getting used to it now, he says.
The answer is yes, 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 and yes. I used this opportunity, you know, I had, so we met because I came to ADE on the suggestion of Big Brother Curtis Richardson. And
we wouldn't have met if that wasn't the case.
No, we would have not. And
well, we would have met, but not in person right away.
Yes, and you know, Curtis has always been a huge supporter and a connector of people. Yes. You know, and outside of all of his talents, that's a whole other thing. And so, you know, my plan was I was going to do features with other people and sort of build up my, you know, my following, and I had been doing that, you know, in bits and pieces. And then when this happened. Oh, I see a question. How many instruments is equipped? How many instruments do I play?
I don't want you to pay attention to the question. I want you to keep talking about
the
last question.
So the last question is, yes, I will continue.
But also, Kaydessa, please feel free to put the question in the question box so we can keep the conversation flowing without being interrupted with everything else.
Learning. Okay, so when this happened and I saw that, like, you know, labels were in a weird place and all these other projects were on hold, I said, well, I need something to do. I need a creative thing. And so I started posting these sort of, you know, videos, and I'm getting new followers and new people and exposed to a new audience. And so, you know, what it's done is, like, my Spotify numbers, I think I'm up to like 10,000 monthly listeners now, which is great. I mean, we're talking about, it was 200 about 2 months ago. So thank you for everybody that's done that. And what has happened is I've met some people online that are now collaborators. And then I've been working on some stuff with the JAG. We met during ADE. And, you know, I just want to say that, you know, social media and technology is neither good nor bad. It's what
it depends on how you use it.
It depends on how you use it. And so, you know, this relationship, this friendship is a perfect example because we had a very small meeting, and it was through social media of us broadcasting who we are and our intent that we've become such you know, such good friends. And that's what I love about social media is that sort of thing. So next month, the Jag and I are releasing a new song called Little Imagination, which I'm really excited about.
I'm excited about that too.
And you know, upbeat, sort of soul dancey R&B kind of track. And I have a couple
Shout
of
out
other.
Biz Marquis joining us.
Hey, what up, Biz? Nobody beats the Biz. Yeah, and then after that, there'll be some other things, and working on an EP with the Jag as well, and a couple of other collaborators. So yes, music is going to continue coming, to answer the question. And thank you for the question, and thanks for following.
So what David said about the getting used to the videos, I feel exactly the same way. So David, thank you for that question, because that was actually one of the things that I was wondering if you were going to keep releasing music. But my question is, you're flipping these old school songs, you're flipping these songs that were hot at some point, or still very hot. Are you thinking about maybe doing an official remix album, or I don't know how sample clearing goes, or
there's some of it does get tricky, but I think the TLC flip thank you. And it kind of was like an accident. You know, it was like I was sort of working on it.
Original. I don't know how you get the idea to flip a song where it's still the song, but it's a whole new song.
Right. Well,
you're so talented.
Thank you. I sometimes it's just playing around with chord progressions, and those chord progressions inspire a piece of a song, or sometimes I say, okay, well, this is a song that I want to do, and how do I, not improve on it, but try a different seasoning to it.
Right.
And the no scrubs thing, originally I was doing it. I had, I was sort of messing around, and I had a different arrangement, and I said, oh, I don't know. And then I was like, well, what if I made it a little more disco-y? And then it just sort of worked. And so I got so many people saying, like, is there a longer version? And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do that as a proper release.
Release,
yeah. So don't ask me when, but yes.
So Jared is saying, how do you get sample clearance for most songs? Like, if you want to do, because I'm in favor of releasing pretty much all the songs that you flipped, but that's just me. I want a whole album, but how do you get proper
well, in those cases, so nothing is sampled, because I'm singing all of those things. Sampling is when you take things. So what essentially happens is it's a remake. It's a cover. Of a song.
In a new style.
Yeah.
In a house style.
Yeah. So the pro and con is the con is, while it feels new to you, I have, in terms of intellectual property, have not created something new. Yeah. The writers of, for example, No Scrubs are the writers of that song.
Yeah.
So you would release it like it was a cover. So there are no samples.
Put them on the writer side.
Yeah. Like, so you would list them as the writers, and when it's released, they would receive their writer royalties from that.
But do you need permission for that, or you just put them down?
Once a song has been recorded and it out in the public, you merely need to apply for a license for it, but you don't need to ask permission. The only time that permission needs to be granted is when you alter the intent or content of the song. So
you used all the same content,
lyrics. Yeah. So if I changed lyrics, like not gender, but like if you said him versus her, or girl versus boy, you're fine. It's when you change the intention of a composition that becomes the issue. So if so if I changed No Scrubs in a way that it changed the meaning of the song, then you have to ask for permission. Or you want to, add other parts to it that change the meaning of it.
Change it completely, so you're the writer. But then it's not a cover anymore. So that would defeat the purpose of what you're doing. But I honestly, if I would have a compilation album of all those songs you flipped, it would make my life. That would be my soundtrack to the Corona times. That would be my soundtrack in the car that I'd be bumping with my windows down and the sun shining. I don't live in LA, so we, when there's sunshine, we need to bump our songs. And your songs give me that summer feeling. So, but there are songs that I know, so I can sing along. That's what I love.
That's and that's the beauty of those things is it's. It's a familiar thing.
And it takes me back to my teenage years and whatnot, So, okay, going back to Cadessa's question, because what we have seen you do in the videos is you sing, you flip the song yourself, you play everything yourself. So how many instruments do you really play?
I just, keyboards. I'm a keyboard and I program. And, I can get myself around some percussions in a pinch, and I sing. Those would be with singing and keyboards are the main things. I play a little tambourine, a little conga, little shaker.
I can do the tambourine in the back, so I can get some credit for the song. Or do some ad-libs. I'll be out there as soon as the flights are going.
And I will be out there soon.
I know.
As well.
Well, let's not cross, because then
no. But
I'm gonna take care of the dog though, because that dog is hilarious. He's so hilarious spoiled. For you, during quarantine, minding his business and taking care of you.
He's so spoiled.
Okay, we're going to go back to the music in a minute. I want to ask you about your health routine, because one of the things that you've also inspired me about is your workout, the physical health. I have been literally, today was the first time since March 14th that I did a full workout, body workout outside with my friend this morning, and I'm hurting right now. But you've been so inspiring.
Well, full disclosure, I have good days and I have bad days, well, I mean, I just, I don't want to paint a picture that isn't accurate. I struggle, and it really is, anything in life, and life in general, is the law of averages. And so, I am not in the physical condition that I'd like to be in, and I'm not the weight that I'd like to be in. I've learned to be 100% me in my body most of the time. The goal is all of the time, but
right.
That's where we are. And so, and I say that because, it's the saying about failure and success is not, is not ever having failure. And, failure is every time that you've fallen down that you didn't get back up. And so I fall on and off, and I'm a carb addict, and there are days, I really can't have any, because, if I have a piece of toast in the morning, by the evening, I'm eating an entire pizza. It's just all or nothing with me.
You know what? I'm with you on that one.
So there are some days that it's the slice of toast and the whole pizza. And there are days that I'm locked in and I'm eating, no carbs and lots of fruits and vegetables and whole food and proteins. And that's what it's about. So I've been inspired by, everything that you see that I'm doing, that you're finding inspiration from. I think the universe, I think we are all transmitters and receivers. And everything that I am transmitting that others are responding to, it's not mine. It's merely my turn to transmit. And, I've watched.
But honestly, so one of the things that I truly love about you, having met you not even a year ago, and
it'll be a year in October.
I know, and it's just, for us only having met a brief moment, there's so many people I follow online and I see their stuff, but you always make me smile. And what I love is that the energy you give is completely you. So for you to do those workouts, knowing what you look like, I mean, we're all not perfect, but you just showing that, you know what, I'm doing it. And the dog looking at you like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just,
he's the worst trainer.
That's the part that's inspirational. It's not necessarily you doing the workout, but it's you doing the workout, because there's millions of people showing their workouts.
Right.
I don't give a shit about all these skinny people and all these fit people. And the fact that somebody that's struggling like me is doing it, that's the inspiration, because I'm struggling.
Part of that is, I don't know where it's like one of these like health, fitness, or diet or improvement. There's all these, different things. And one of the things it says is to make yourself accountable, so put it out there that this is what I'm doing. And so that the people that know you be like, it's been a couple months and we see you getting bigger. What is happening? Now, obviously that would be a rude thing if I didn't ask you to do it. But if you put it out there and if you say it, then it's like, you're right. Like my really good friends, and they, it's never a dig. It's never, in a way to shame somebody. It's done in love. My friends, especially if I sound a little down and out or funky, they'll be like, have you been to the gym today? Did you work out? Did you check in with your body? It's not about like, bitch, why are you still fat? It's, did you check in? Did you,
it's for you.
Yeah.
Because they know that you usually do it. So they want to check with you like, hey, what's, is there something going on? And that is what friends do. Friends hold each other accountable. Which
I agree.
Is why I'm saying, you make me feel like I'm slacking. That's the accountability part.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
That's why I love it. Your drinks, because that's also one of the things that I've been seeing during quarantine.
My
You
drinks.
make certain drinks. Okay, we're going straight from workout and diets to drinks.
You know, life is balance. Life is
Yeah,
balance.
we gotta have some fun. So what is your specialty drink? Because I see something with berries and
Okay, so full disclosure. You know, first of all, I'm not a big drinker. I've been drunk, and I put once again about accountability. I
yeah.
have been drunk, and I'm not shaming anybody else. Or I have been drunk exactly 3 times my entire life. 3
Really?
times. That's it.
Yeah, now you're
I'm a
shaming
little
me
bit of a
again.
control. I'm a little bit of a control freak, and I was really fortunate that when I was 21 and I sort of had my first real experience. I had real experience with. No, I'm sorry, I was 18 because I was clubbing, and I had turned 18, and we went out to a club, and this is 21 and older here in the States, and my
Yeah.
cousin at the time, we went out and somebody gave me a drink, and I think like within an hour, I had about 3 drinks, and somebody was offered me another, and my cousin could see you're already sort of crossing over, and he said, "Hold on a second, stop." And he says, "Do you feel nice?" And I said, "Yeah." He
Yes,
goes,
stay nice.
"You stop at nice.
Yes,
When
you
you don't feel
sip.
nice
You
anymore,
sip to
you
stay nice. Yeah.
yeah, that's it." He goes, "You stop at nice. Once you feel nice, that's it." And I didn't even realize, that stayed with me for a really, really, really long time. And I'm like really, really thankful for that. So, but as a result, I'm one of those people that enjoys the buzz, but not necessarily the taste of liquor, which is why the drinks,
Same.
look like
I'm the
something a
same.
very leisurely lady would be enjoying. But I will say
Boy,
that
we're gonna get nice when you're back here. We're just
oh
gonna
yeah,
stay nice.
yes, yes.
I have a few questions from people again. Okay. David again. Are you gonna have some surprise virtual guests in your next few home videos?
No, I don't believe so. It feels a
Yeah, I'm
little
not sure what
ominous.
he means. Yeah,
Well,
but
maybe as we get a handle on this awful virus, and we're able to interact with some of our people a little more. That could be in the future. Um,
I like the dog. What's the dog's name again?
Roscoe.
Roscoe. I like Roscoe's appearances. He can stay in there.
Well, his appearances are always are never planned, because there'll be certain videos that I've cropped because you'll see him just kind of coming in and out of the frame. He's
Right.
completely oblivious to the
I love
process.
Roscoe. I'm such a fan. Then Jarrett asks, any rumors about the music industry that need to be debunked?
I feel like you'd have to tell me what rumors.
Yeah, what is the rumor? Jared, let us know. What is a rumor that you're wondering about?
Is it a rumor or a myth? Because feel free to expand on that. But I
Yeah,
will say,
okay. Put it in your question box, Jared. Then I don't know how to pronounce this name, but your top 3 house tracks.
oh Jesus. I mean, I don't know that I mean, I would say top 3 in this moment right now, Inner City Good Life.
Oh yeah.
Inner
I knew
City
that.
Good.
I knew you were gonna say that because you've been talking about that one.
Well, I mean, there are certain things. Inner City Good Life. God, the artist is going to escape me. Love Dancing. They're going to be all classic things. Kings
Right.
of Tomorrow. Finally. I mean, there's so many. I don't know that I could pick just
That's
3.
and honestly, that's when somebody asks me the top 3 hip hop tracks. I could
Yeah.
not. Yeah, I'm not. There's too much, and it's not all the same type of song. So there's always levels and variations and diversity in that genre on its own. So the same with house. What I wanted to ask you is, doing those flips, what are some of your favorite songs to flip? Are those a specific genre? Are there a specific era from? Or...
Currently, you know, they tend to be things that hover around, you know, soul and R&B. And that could just be because that has been
That's
since
fun to
I
flip
was.
though, because it's such a contrast. So
It isn't. It isn't because, you know, house music is Black music, and there was a period where, and I feel like we're coming to it again, where the R&B, you know, for example, you know, early 80s, all the dance music originally were Black artists. You look, you know,
yeah,
you look at the early 80s before, you know, like the freestyle and stuff that they would call club. You had Saida Garrett, Do You Want It Right Now, which then
yeah,
eventually, you know, Taylor Dane covered. And
yeah,
so dance music has always been started as Black music. And then it, you know, it sort of makes a left turn or evolves or becomes mainstream. And, you know, a lot of the pop stuff now is grounded in, you know, what you would have called, you know, all that 90s, late 90s pop stuff like NSYNC and all of that other stuff was grounded in New Jack Swing.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah. That's all New Jack Swing.
and so, you know, a lot of the house artists were soul, R&B, gospel singers.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
so I do it not necessarily to show, you know, how different these things are, but how akin to
Connected
one
it
another
is.
they are. And what
Yeah.
it is, you know, is the soul of it. And so that tends to be the well, which is why sometimes I've taken the house records, like I did Crystal Waters' Gypsy Woman,
Yeah.
because Crystal Waters, known as being, you know, a club artist, you cannot mistake that soul, that R&B, that jazz and rhythm and blues that touches her lyrics and her melodies and the texture,
Yeah.
you know, of her instrument. It really is sort of showing, you know, how Black music, even when you think it's very different, I shared in my stories, there was some video of Tina Turner, and I don't know if she was in Africa or what it is, but it's her and a woman from Africa, and they're sort of going back and forth, and the woman is sort of doing her thing, and Tina's doing her other, and it
Yeah.
sort of shows you the culture is worldwide. It touches everything, you know. Even when the wrapper of things or the container makes it look different, it's all in here. It's all the same.
It's all the same. So did you end up doing my Aaliyah suggestion?
I'm working on it.
I'm curious.
The trick is that that record is sort of in a it's sort of in a waltz. You don't realize it the way that it's arranged.
See, and this is what I like. This is what you can explain to me why it's difficult and different for you to do, because you know your beats and your you know, whatever, your BPMs and whatnot.
Well, so the house music is a 4/4 thing, and the Aaliyah record.
So this is a 3, because a waltz is a
dum, you know, sort of kind of thing. And so you don't really realize it because her beat is doing this boom, 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 but her verse is
a challenge for you.
Yeah, and so I've been working on it. The verse is great. It's when I get to the chorus, we're figuring out how to reinterpret it so that it still feels like the same record. And so it was one of the things that I started working, and I realized it was going to take me longer than the time that I had allotted, and I didn't want to half-ass it. So it's
don't half-ass it.
It's in the vault.
Awesome. So I like the fact that I gave you a challenge.
And that's, you know, and there's fun in that, you know, learning to command.
But it also prepares you to do those type of records the next time. So you have kind of the experience to do that.
Absolutely.
There's another question. This is the one from Jarrett. About the rumors, things like the top hundreds billboards are rigged as hell. Like, is that something that you know of?
Well, you know, music does not sell itself.
Right.
And, you know, there are marketing campaigns and strategies, and as with anything, money you know, funds and
Yeah,
fuels
money opens
everything.
doors, money, yeah.
You know, you know, can you buy a #1 record with something that's absolute garbage?
Right.
I mean, garbage is you know, that term is what, you know, I forget the word is, but you know, one person's garbage is something else.
Treasure.
But there, you would be hard pressed to find any record on the Billboard top 10 that doesn't have a marketing campaign and money behind it. And that's, you know, and that's just the way that it is. It's been that way. Records don't get on radio stations and playlists and banners where you buy and consume your music by accident. That's just how it is. You know, you want to create the best music that you can, and then, you know, you need allies and partners. And so, yeah, you know, I mean, it's the same thing with, you know, with election processes. It's not, you know, it's not necessarily about the best candidate. And sometimes when you're fortunate, a good candidate has access to, you know, money and outlets to get their message out. And that's kind of the same thing. So
Jared is a young, talented singer from Rotterdam who he was in a master class I once did, and he let me listen to his music, and I was completely blown away by the fact that this young guy, I think he's like 22, 21, 22, and he is doing 90s R&B type stuff. Like,
oh, okay, well, you already got me.
Yeah, for me, that was, oh, wow, this is like a young guy who's giving me the sound of my teens. And I really like that. But he's, you know, he's working on his skills and his craft. So very proud of him, you know, doing what he needs to do to get in there.
Well, my advice to him in countering the counter to that thing is, one of the beautiful things about where we are right now is the reasons why you need a record label get smaller and smaller as time goes on. And your ultimate goal is to build an audience. Do not worry about Billboard charts or any of those other things. That's great. Build your audience. And to build your audience takes a little money, because, you know, everything takes, you know, money, even, you know, and time. You know, your time is money.
Yeah, time is
Release consistently and grow your audience. You know, streaming is a wonderful thing to do that. These platforms let people know what it is that you do.
That you're doing,
and so that, you know, just like the people that are following me now, I will be hounding you incessantly with this new release that's coming out. But I'm not starting from zero because you've been tuned in. So focus your time on building your audience. You build your audience by consistently releasing things and by consistently showing people who and what it is that you do, so that they become invested. And that will take you a really long way. Don't worry so much about Billboard. The beauty about the money and all of those other things is when you build an audience,
it'll come.
The right people will come to you, and you'll figure out how to get to that next step.
Yeah. So one of the first things that, and we have to round it up because we've been talking for almost an hour. One of the biggest things that I advise my artists as a consultant and manager is to build a team, because if you have a good team, first and foremost, then the rest will follow, including, you know, what you said, releasing consistently, building your fan base, having your team. Those are the basic elements, your foundation of your career and your business that will get you to that next level where people are seeing you. One of the things that I also say is don't chase people or companies. Build your profile up and your resume up where people will chase you, that they can't go around you. And that is something that, you know, I'm not going to, me as a manager or consultant, I'm not going to knock on these labels doors every day. I ain't got time for that. You're going to have your work on point, your work ethic, and your team will be working on it. Whereas labels and
sometimes it's a blessing, you know, and sometimes it's a blessing. So many people that are super successful were passed on by people, and you know, chances are, you know, they were doing something so different that couldn't be seen, that if they would have gotten a deal. They would have probably made them change or alter themselves in a way that it wouldn't have worked, and that would have been it.
Exactly. Don't
Nobody
change your
wanted to
art.
sign Jay-Z.
Right.
Nobody
And
was feeling it.
don't change your art. Do what you want to do, what you put out there. You will have the fans that relate to that, and the fans will make sure that people can't go around you in the industry.
Yeah.
So first of all, thank you so much for wanting to talk about this. This was very informative for people in the industry, but also people dealing with this pandemic, you know, the whole racism situation going on in the world. I am thankful to know you and to sort of work with you. We haven't really done any solid projects, but we're getting to that. I actually wanted to talk to you about BTS as well, because one of my stepkids is the biggest BTS fan, and she was going to the concert, but you know, Corona. We'll get to that another time, because we'll revisit this talk. Okay. Is there one thing that you want to give out to people that are watching? Is there a life motto, or something you want to go out with?
Make the goal to be you at all times, to be comfortable with yourself, knowing that the chances of you being 100% who you want to be is almost impossible. So learn to be comfortable with yourself no matter where you are. And if there's something that you want to do, never give up. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
That's a really good one.
And remain a student. Remain a student. Always remain a student.
There's always stuff to learn, and you can always progress as a person. You can always be a better person than yesterday, tomorrow. Again, Ellis, thank you so much. Please keep blessing us with your flips. I can't wait till I hear my Aaliyah flip from you.
No pressure.
We'll be on the lookout for your new release with the Jag, and whoever was watching, thank you. Please be safe out there, especially because I know LA has a curfew now. So yeah, hit up Ellis on his Instagram if you want to work with him or want to talk to him some more. If you have questions for me, please let me know as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Have a wonderful evening or day wherever you are. And Ellis, we'll talk later.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.